Hello everyone. Today is April 12, 1863, a very important day in our country's history. On this date, 2 years ago, the first shots were fired to start the Civil War that our country is still fighting today. For this very special day, we have a very special guest. I would like to welcome one of our nation's most important women, born here in Lexington, Kentucky in 1818, 45 years ago. Mary Todd Lincoln, the First Lady of these United States.
Hello, thank you.
So let's start in the beginning of your life. What was your education like? Because I know that your husband was not as lucky as you with your education.
Indeed, he was not as fortunate as I with education. I had the privilege to start off at Dr. Ward's Academy. Then I was sent to Madame Mantel's boarding school. And I finished school where I had started at Dr. Ward's Academy. And I studied various subjects, including grammar, geography, arithmetic, poetry, literature, French, and culture. I was fortunate enough to have an excellent education.
That is an excellent education, especially for the day and age when a good education can be so hard to get. So what jobs did you have in your life?
Well, my family was lucky enough to have a good amount of money, and that is why I was able to get a good education. This is also why it wasn't necessary for me to have a job. However, I was very interested in political matters, and especially presidential candidacy. I especially spent a lot of time helping my husband with his, to promote his presidential campaign.
So let's move on to the present day, this day in particular. Let's discuss the Civil War. How do you feel about the war?
Being the First Lady of the United States, the last thing I want to see is our nation being ripped apart. So many have lost their lives, and it is because we are killing each other. It is horrifying to be a part of, but it is also important to fight this war, because fighting this war is the only way that we can reunite our country. We need to be one nation again, and my husband says we can only achieve this by fighting against the seceded states. This war changes the way some people view my husband. Some people support him, while others want to see him dead. This war is by far the hardest obstacle I've ever encountered, and the hardest obstacle that our country has ever encountered.
So what has been your personal experience with the war?
I personally do not have any experience in the Civil War, but I have been affected. My husband has undergone more pressure than I could ever imagine possible. He has to try to do what he thinks is right, which is trying to end slavery, while keeping the nation together. The worst thing that has hit us was the Battle of Antietam. So many souls were lost in that battle. It was the single bloodiest battle in one day that the war and our nation has undergone. But even after the grief of losing so many of our countrymen, my husband still has to go on and keep working at this war. And there are many battles where we have lost large numbers as well of men. And he has to strategize, he has to make sure that generals are cooperating, which they sometimes aren't. And he has to make sure that the troops stay prepared and supplied. And his job as leader of the nation affects the entire family, including myself. This brutal war has made his job harder, and my experience with the war has been through my husband.
I can't even imagine how this has affected you, your life, and your family. That being said, what do you miss most about your life without the Civil War?
My husband. Every day I worry for his safety and his health. He is hated by many, and this could be dangerous for him. Also, the stress could damage his health in ways that cannot be repaired. I know that no matter what, a president of the United States will always have stress and hate thrown upon him. But this war maximizes these things to a level unimaginable. I miss having a husband that could just be by my side in good health and without danger.
I can see the toll that this has taken not only on your husband, but on you as well. Now, what do you see in the future of our nation once this war is over?
I can tell you that I hope to see a nation as one, that is not only united, but can accept those of different races. But that will be a long and difficult road, I'm sure, until we all look at each other with equal levels of respect. In the future of this nation, after this war, I think that at first it will be difficult to settle everything with how destructive this war has been. There will probably still be tension between the North and South. People will still see African Americans as undeserving of equality, but with time and hard work, I believe we can reunite our country and even see equal respect between those of different races.
Alright, so those are your thoughts on our nation's future. What are your thoughts on your own personal future once the war ends?
Possibly, I would like to see my husband's re-election, and hopefully his next term will be much smoother than his current term. After his presidency, I hope that we can settle down and live peaceful lives with friends of different races.
Alright, well thank you for your time here. We appreciate you spending your time with us and sharing the amount of information you did about the war that broke out on this state exactly 2 years ago. So thank you very much.
I enjoyed being here as well. Thank you.